tab fell off. Hey everybody, peace. So I'm Trey. So I want to say shout out to my mom, dad, and grandma for coming today. Because a lot of the skills that I use for Hood Honey, I got from them at various parts of my life. So thank y'all so much. Really couldn't do it without y'all, especially mom and dad. But so I'm Trey, founder of Hood Honey, and we heard of LeBron James, right? I'm sure we have, but you know, out of all the stuff he did, one of the things I remember was this thing he said, and it was to keep the main thing the main thing. And he was like, yeah, I heard that from Pat Riley. So I was like, oh yeah, Pat Riley said that. But then it turned out some guy named Stephen, there we go. I was getting there. Stephen Covey said it, and he had a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I don't know the other habits, but this one really stuck out to me. So Hood Honey, though, our main thing is bees, which is obvious. I mean, it's Hood Honey. Like, we do honey, we do bees. I started off in 2021 on the corner of 129th and Benham. And that's a stop sign that everybody blows. But I put some bees there, dressed up in a bee suit, and people stopped. So that is not usually recognized as education. You don't get any money for stopping people at a stop sign, but that is education. People were stopping and saying, what are you doing? You're doing honeybees in the hood? Like, you're making honey? Like, that's what you're doing? This is how you make honey? So people didn't know this, but that was kind of how we started. And we started, you know, the next year to go into schools and educate at schools and educate where we were at and invite groups to our farm. And my farm is at my grandmother's house, where it used to be in Mount Pleasant. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm the bee dude. I'm the honey dude. But like, really in my eyes, I believe I'm more of a mad scientist. Because like, I see the disadvantages of my hood. So my hood is Mount Pleasant, and it's vacant lots, it's crime, you know what I'm saying? It's ignorance, low education, you know what I'm saying? Lack of fresh food, right? But that's an advantage to me and my bees. You know, like one thing, vacant lots, and the fact that people are ignorant. People don't want to cut their grass. So that means I get a lot more flowers. People don't want to use pesticides. They don't care how the grass looks. That means I have clean, fresh honey. So if you have anybody who says, man, honey, like, man, this is some of the best honey I got. I'm like, because it comes from the hood. It's the best place. So with that being said, I'm taking all those advantages and trying to create this agricultural paradise in my hood. You know, so our future is in between the houses on those vacant lots. And we want to build a farm between 116th, Kinsman, and Union. And we want to build high tunnels to extend our season. We want to build up the soil. You know, a disadvantage, we have dirty soil, but we coming in and we doing soil, we want to do soil remediation, which can turn into compost, which can make a lot of money. We educate, we bring the fresh food. This is what we do now. We educate and we bring fresh food to local daycare. So I work with a lot of local daycares. You see right there in that picture where we're teaching them about bees. We're not just teaching them like, hey, this is fresh food. We're showing them like, this is where you can get your fresh food right here. And you can't really see it in that picture, but it's not just honey in there. There's dandelions in there, which is also fresh food. People don't know that. So this is our point of being here. But the big vision I want to get you guys on is the agricultural paradise in Mount Pleasant. I ran across something called a produce auction, which there are 12 in Ohio. I want to bring the 13th or 14th, depending on who you ask, to Mount Pleasant. So like Danny said, close your eyes, but you don't have to. But imagine you're a gardener and you got 20 pounds of tomatoes and you come to this produce auction and you got some of the best restaurateurs in the city bidding over your vegetables. And you can take that money and bring it back to your community. But that's in Mount Pleasant. We've all been to the West Side Market. It's a very unique experience. Imagine coming to a produce auction in Mount Pleasant Very unique experience. Let me get this open back up. So with that being said, I want to come back to the main thing. And the main thing is bees. And the reason I chose bees is because they are like this gateway into urban ag. Because, we're talking about processed foods, right? Honey is, to my knowledge, the only fresh food that can stand up to a Snickers bar in sweetness. And it's way healthier. So that's the gateway right there. It's like, we're going to get these kids to like honey, which they already do. And then we can go into other things, because honey, man, just do whatever, put it on anything. It's the best. But with that being said, let me get back to that point, because we have a twofold plan, and I'm going to go into my ask. But the first plan is to create this agricultural paradise in Mount Pleasant, taking up those vacant lots, bringing a produce auction there, and putting a farm in between 116th, Kinsman, and Union. That would do so much. Just come talk to me after. But the second part of the plan is to take our hood honeybees and take them on the road and hit up all these urban centers around Ohio, so that we can teach other people how to make their own agricultural paradise. Because we're trying to get fresh food there, right? Well, I can't do it all. People gonna have to grow for themselves. So here's my ask though. So like when I started this company, I took out $3,000 out of my 401k or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew, like, if I couldn't figure out what to do with this money now, then I'm not gonna need it when I'm 50. So this worked, because I'm standing right here, and I worked these last 3 years to get to this point, to bring this message to people like, hey, I have an idea to help solve a food apartheid, so this is the thing we're gonna need. So I'm gonna need about $150,000. So if anybody got that, let me know. But if you can't give it all to me right now, I need a car. My business needs a car. I've been doing my whole company on a bus. So I can't take bees on a bus. Sometimes I do, and people don't know. But this is how I've been building my company so far. But we need to buy our lot. So right now we're currently leasing from the land bank, which is cool. But the lot used to be my grandmother's house. So it was in my family since 1970 up until 2012. So I want to bring that back to my family, but buy those other contiguous lots so that we can create this campus here and solidify our place in Mount Pleasant and grow it out so that we can solve food apartheid. But if you can't do all that, you could also come volunteer. I need volunteers at my farm from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we also, just throw this out here, I have 150 people waiting list for hives, for beehives, okay? So it's just me. So I need people to come help, come donate, come volunteer, so I can teach people how to have their own beehives, teach people how to make their own food, so that we don't have these problems with our food systems being stressed out. And also, follow me on Instagram, HoodHoney216. But I'm Trey. I appreciate y'all time, and I'll see y'all after.